What's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to day 2 of Unmute. Create your digital voice on LinkedIn. We are here today because LinkedIn is the largest B2B platform in the world, connecting nearly 800 million professionals. And if you want to be heard, you have to speak up. Come off mute. We have an incredible lineup for you today with speakers who have learned how to harness the power of LinkedIn to achieve real business results. There are 2 tracks that will run simultaneously for much of the day today: Empower and Influence. The Influence track is designed to help you up your own personal game on LinkedIn, and the Empower track was created to help get you and your team more active and engaged on the platform. With that, I am so excited to welcome our keynote speaker this morning, the one and only Jake Dunlap. Jake is going to be presenting on the future of B2B sales. And Jake is the founder and CEO of Skaled Consulting. He helps executives around the world accelerate business growth with data-backed sales solutions. And before building Skaled, he was the VP of sales at NowWait, the head of sales at, my thing's cut off. That was almost so powerful.
The Glassdoor. I've done a few things. This is like a few companies. I got you. I'm here for you.
Good morning, Jake. How's it going?
It's going great. I'm so pumped up. That music got me fired up. It reminded me of my days in the club in Tampa Bay, just kicking it. So I'm pumped up to talk about the future of sales, and I'm really excited for everyone who's joining us today to hear from some really, really amazing people on a very tactical and practical versus talking head advice. And I think it's going to be a really special day, and I'm super excited for it.
All right, let's get started.
All right. Thank you, Mackenzie. All right, everybody. So welcome. So we've got a smaller group this today. The content you're going to see today, when Mackenzie and I were working on this a few months ago, what was most important to me was like that we get people who are doing it, and they're doing it for business reasons, not for LinkedIn fame. And I think that that's a really important delineation. I'm going to dive into the concept of influence here in a little bit, that we're not talking about, influencer, right? We're talking about building influence in your space. I really wanted to make sure that the lineup that we had is people who have done it, and they've done it for a very purposeful reason. So, my other big advice, and I'm gonna jump into my talk here in a second, is be very selfish today. Ask questions, raise your hand. Go and make the most. You're going to be here for 3 hours, or so. I think make the most of your time. We did this purposely with a smaller group on day 2 because most of you are kind of past that, step 1 of LinkedIn. You're ready, you're there. So for me, that's a big reason why I hope all of you are here. So be very selfish. Stephanie, such a great call out. I understand your dilemma there. So, all right. So we're going to get into it, and I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to pull this over so we didn't learn from yesterday. If you missed the sessions yesterday, I really enjoyed those. They were a lot of fun. All right. So welcome to the future of B2B sales. Such an ominous title. I'm going to move this to present mode. Looks like my camera's catching up a little bit. Come on. So why are we talking about the future of B2B sales at Unmute? And the real reason that we're doing this and talking through this is that, again, when we think about where sales is headed, and we think about what the future is going to both demand and require from sales teams, LinkedIn is going to be a very big part of that. And if you look at trends in B2B marketing, if you look at what's working, what's not working, these trends for me, I think, are going to be some of the most important to walk you all through this. Trend number one is
Isn't working from home and doing conferences remotely so much fun? We're obviously having some technical difficulties, but we're getting Jake back online. Just give us a minute here, folks. Sorry about that. Okay, I've had an idea. There are 40 people in the room right now, and there's this really cool feature on Run the World that allows you to grab the mic. So if you look in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, there's like a little microphone and you can grab it. And I'm hoping that maybe one or two folks would love to jump up on stage and talk and just say hi and mention, what they're most looking forward to today or most looking to get out of today. You can also type it in the comments section over here. But I think it'd be fun to hear from a couple of people. So if anyone is brave enough to hit that grab the mic button and jump up on stage with me real quick, we would love to talk with you. All right, Stephanie. Oh, shoot, I hit Larry. We're going to have Stephanie and Larry up on stage and Jen. I think maybe everybody can come up on stage at the same time. What's up, Stephanie? Hi, Larry.
Hi, Mackenzie. Hi, Larry.
How's it going?
Good. How are you both?
So good. How's it going, Larry?
Hi.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, I'm outside in my out back in my backyard. So I was like, I don't know, but this is fun. It's nice to see everybody.
I know, isn't it fun? It's like someone mentioned yesterday, it's like Clubhouse, except you can see people, right?
100%.
It is. It is. So almost like Zoom, except on a larger platform. So this is cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. It is kind of like Zoom, but it's nice that people, I really do like this grab the mic feature where people can just like, impromptu jump up on stage. So what's everyone looking forward to talking about or learning about today?
Well, I'm looking forward to Gong and really understanding like how to empower people and get like the whole team being more socially active. I'm really excited about that. And I was like, as soon as Jake was like, okay, and these are the trends, I'm like, here's my notebook out and I'm ready to write. I'm like, and then he was gone. So I was like hyped for the moment. And I'm like, he's going to tell me something epic right now. So.
Well, he is, but he'll be back in just a second. So not to worry. And I'm also really excited for Gong. Gong is doing so much cool stuff. And so is Lessonly, actually. Lessonly, Kyle Lacey is speaking this afternoon, and his team's doing some really cool stuff to help incentivize and not even, incentivizing is secondary from what I understand. Like really the first piece of it is just leading by example. And, if you're not out there talking about what you're doing, it's hard to get your team talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for KD. So Ken Dorsey, if you each don't follow him, please follow him on LinkedIn. He is phenomenal. He's such a genuine person, a true sales thought leader, and also he mixes in a lot of just like mindfulness and just being a better person as a whole. So I'm excited to hear from him.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. I watched a ton. There's no shortage of talks that Kevin has done. And when we asked him to speak for this, I know he put together a special deck, but I in preparation watched a ton and listened to a ton of his podcasts, and he's doing some really cool stuff. So I'm very excited to hear from him too. What about you, Larry?
I'm just an open book right now, ready to take it all in. I loved yesterday, really loved Jake's piece on Sales Navigator. I learned some cool little things. I wasn't sure what I was going to get out of this, but I've been pleasantly surprised. So I'm really looking forward to focusing today, taking good notes. And you've got a nice forum of people coming up to speak. I've never even heard from Kevin before. I've learned just reading about him right now. So that sounds really interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing from Jake again. And just getting as much out of this as possible so I can have more of an authentic and powerful presence on LinkedIn.
Woohoo! I love it. And for folks who weren't there, I know, Jen, you were, I'm not sure, Stephanie, if you were there yesterday or not. And sounds like you were, Larry. What were one or two of your takeaways for folks in the audience who weren't at the event yesterday?
For me, I really like the session on LinkedIn Sales Navigator, like some of the other features that I wasn't aware of that have changed over the last few, 5 or 6 months that I hadn't realized. So that was pretty useful. Also, when you were going through sort of, coming up with what your pillars are for content, I hadn't looked at it that way before. So that was pretty interesting to dig a little deeper into how to expand on those pillars.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I got a lot out of Jacob's piece yesterday. I mean, everything was good. I'm not going to lie. I had a lot going on. So I was back and forth working and trying to focus. And I got 5-year-old twins at home. I had to play with them for a little bit. So, I mean, it was kind of a free-for-all. But I got a lot out of it. I mean, basically just trying to be more authentic. And then the Jacob part was powerful because I've been really trying to figure out how to use, my LinkedIn Sales Navigator properly. And I already spent some time last night already implementing some of the things that he suggested. Like you can create those lead lists and then view the content. And just like you said, I'm going through all of my leads and really people are posting and not getting any engagement. So I was able to like and engage a lot of stuff authentically, which was received really well. So I just enjoy that process and making that a daily part of my, a daily method, right? To be a little consistent with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes.
That's awesome. And Stephanie, I'll let you jump in here if you attended any of the sessions yesterday. Yeah. But I also just want to mention to anyone who's joining who didn't attend yesterday, you can already go access all of the recordings from the sessions. So the Sales Navigator recording is in there. It's in the Run the World platform. You can go access the sessions about content and creating your content strategy. So feel free to do that at any point, here forward. But looks like or sounds like you were also there yesterday.
Yes, Mackenzie. I think my favorite thing from yesterday was honestly you and your energy. Just thank you so much for showing up for us. It is not easy to in a virtual environment, so thank you. And for me, my biggest takeaway is like, hey, Stephanie, you know it. You got to just do it now, get consistent with it. And the biggest thing that I always run into is the time that it takes to not only post, but then be active with the content and with others on the platform as well. So just juggling.
Yeah, and to Andreas's point yesterday, the better you do, the more time it takes up, right? Like as soon as you start doing really well, you get lots of engagement and lots of people who are wanting to talk with you and hear more and get feedback and have questions in your DMs and all of those things. So
absolutely.
And it's funny. I don't know if you saw or anyone saw, but I did a story after the first session yesterday. I jumped on LinkedIn real quick and did a story. And I was kind of laughing because, I really do think that the main thing about speaking, whether it's in person or remotely, is just being excited about what you're talking about. Because if you're excited about what you're talking about, everyone else will be. If you're not excited, why is anyone else going to care, right? And I think that goes for public speaking, and I think it also kind of goes for putting out content on LinkedIn, whether it's video content or written content. If you're excited about what you're doing, you're showing up in this powerful way, then other people are going to be drawn to you and your message. So thank you. I appreciate that, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Brian, you're here. Are you? You're working from home today. Awesome. Okay. Well, so what questions, anyone on the stage, you're also welcome to drop up if you're okay, I'm done with this now, but what questions does anyone have about LinkedIn? It can be literally anything about LinkedIn.
Yeah. What prompted me to sign up for this was really trying to understand how to empower my team to really post more or to feel comfortable posting, right? Not everyone is going to want to put themselves out there, but what kind of tools and strategies can I give them to feel more comfortable or ready to post and to be more consistent with it? And so that's why I found the first day super useful, because those are some of the techniques that, I'll want to bring to my team. But additionally, how to get them excited about it, because I think it's so important that you are excited. Just like, you were great yesterday with bringing some energy to the event.
Yeah, it is. I completely agree, Jen. And I think that what you just said is brilliant, right? It's really like that process that we walked through some of yesterday is exactly what we've done with the team at Skaled. So Marion, who presented the like kind of walkthrough of creating your strategy, we basically interview the team, right? So, and we'll talk about this in one of the sessions later, but you basically go interview the team, and I'll share some of the questions that we asked with the team. Obviously, yesterday would be a good template, but there are lots of other questions that you can ask, because the first thing, the couple of things that come up for people when you talk to them about posting on LinkedIn are fear, first of all, right? They want to know that their leadership at their company is going to be supportive of them. They want to know that, you know, when they start speaking up, that they're going to be celebrated and not condemned, right? But also they want to know that their entire network is going to receive what they're saying well. But I think the next thing is like, I just don't know what to post or talk about. And when you start interviewing people, you can like kind of point out, oh, that would be a cool thing to talk about on LinkedIn, and just to like plant those seeds or ideas, but always leaving it up to the individual team member, what they feel comfortable sharing and talking about, because we've seen lots of companies who try to force people to share or post stuff. It just doesn't work. And if they do share something, it's not going to get the kind of engagement because they're not excited to do it, right?
Yeah, I see there are a couple questions here. So Doug asked, Jen, what is the speaker icon on your LinkedIn profile? I'm actually speaking for the Y Sales Network at their annual conference. So on June 24th, I'm doing a breakout session on leadership with heart. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then Stephanie asked, I'd love to hear how you manage your time as a mom, full-time sales leader, and content creator. Man, I don't know. I don't know how I do it. Like, there are only so many hours in the day, right? I do. While I don't take my phone in the shower, I do use Siri. To get back to, I think it was Ariel's point yesterday. Like, I'll talk to Siri to like record notes of what I want to post about on LinkedIn. So I know that really helps. But really, I mean, it's all about time management for me. Like, look, it's Jake. He's doing something epic.
Don't get me started. It's been great.
Like, I got my notepad out. I'm all ready. I'm like, Jake's going to say something. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And that's all right. It still will be. But when you use a startup platform, sometimes the bandwidth between it and I think my computer is like, I'm not having this. So we'll go low res video, low res everything, and I think we'll be all right. We're gonna make it. This is how we're gonna roll with it.
I'll never forget, Jake. Bye, Jen. Bye, Larry. Thanks for jumping up here. Jake, I'll never forget the first time that I did a LinkedIn Live with you or something, and it like the mic dropped or froze or something, and I was like gonna have a heart attack, and Jake was just like, "It's cool, don't worry about it. Like, I'm just gonna do this."
Life happens. Everyone's gonna be. It's gonna be fantastic. So it sounds like you covered for me. So I'm gonna have you share your screen, Mackenzie. Why don't you do that to avoid my Mac melting down again?
Cool. Yeah, I'll jump off camera and I will share my screen right now.
Love it. All right, everyone. I have absolutely no idea. Let me hop over the comments here. Let's see. I'm not sure where we left off. So I'm going to start with a very brief high level on the trends, because I'm just going to get into them anyway, so it's fine. So let's see. I cannot see the screen yet if it's being shared. Point one. Really? I was on point one? That's where it cut out? I was talking for a lot longer than point one. All right, let's hope this deck doesn't crash her computer too. All right, that's me. I'm Jake Dunlap. What's up, everybody? I run Skaled. We're a 30-person consulting firm. We've got folks all over the world. I'm here in Austin right now. It's amazing. All right, so let's go into the trends. Mackenzie's computer is working better than mine. So trends, I'm excited about. Okay, there's three of them. So I'm just taking Stephanie that I did not hear any of this. So I'm going to just talk about it at a high level. Okay, great. So one is millennials in the process, and 1 and 3 are interrelated. That as more and more millennials move into the buying decision-making process, the trends and what they're going to expect from you as a company and individual are going to rapidly change. Okay, that I've got some stats I'll walk you through that I think should be a little alarming for a lot of you who are in sales. Yes, Ryan, go ahead. Please do that for me. I'd love that. The next is volume of people involved. This is a trend I've been talking about for a while, but I don't see us doing anything about it. And what I mean by that is, in an average company, there's quite a few people that are involved, but our processes are built to be very singular in process and singular in a threading standpoint. And last but not least is B2c coming to B2B. And you think about all the purchases that you make today. Think about buying a house. I think the stat I saw in 2019, like 70% of homes were found by the buyer. You rewind 10, 15 years, that number is like zero, right? Or maybe a friend of a friend, right? Travel, cars, every major life purchase is almost 100% self-service at this point, and in some cases, 100% self-service. These trends and that type of frictionless experience is coming to B2B, and we have to be ready for it. And that's why, look, like I said at the very beginning, if you remember, is why we're talking about the future of B2B at a LinkedIn conference is LinkedIn is the way that we can really align around all of these. And so if you go to the next one, please. So here are some stats that I think, again, a lot of you should really be alarmed by, is that 44% of millennials said they don't want to talk to a B2B salesperson in the sales process. Why? We're so used to this, right? We're so used to this interaction that we don't really quite appreciate, because we've been in sales for so long, how big of a mental shift this is. That imagine a whole generation of people have grown up with Amazon, with everything on demand, Netflix, etc. That they don't, the concept of having to talk to a person to get information, and even for a lot of you, think about this. What if you had to talk to a person to try to find out what homes were for sale? Ugh, gross, right? And people are going to expect companies to have more information available, more things at their fingertips, etc. Right? The other is that they're involved in decisions to purchase, 73%. So in most of your buying experiences, you have people that prefer not to talk to salespeople. And so when we talk about LinkedIn as a digital channel, I'm going to talk about why you can use, or how you can use that to your advantage. Okay. So the other is that shit's getting more complex. 7 in a company, not a big company, right? 100 to 500 person company, 7 people are involved in the process, which means, again, and you think about most deals, how many people are you talking to on a regular basis in most deals? One for 50+%, 2 for the other 25, and that's where it starts. The reality is 7 people are involved. Again, today you're going to learn how can we use LinkedIn to impact all 7 of these people. And the last kind of point I'll make here is that if we think about the trends, and this final one, again, is about B2C to B2B, right? Not talking to a salesperson, more people involved, right? This is from Gartner State of Sales report. It's a really great report that came out in November. Is that B2B interactions, 80% will occur in digital channels. And guess what? LinkedIn is going to be a primary channel for that, right? And so when we say occur in digital channels, again, think about your sales organization, your sales team. Are you prepared for this? Are you prepared for what it's going to take to meet the sales trends? And again, LinkedIn, we really believe, look, the reason that we started, we're a sales consulting firm. And so the whole reason that we started our LinkedIn strategy practice is because of this trend. We firmly believe that if your organization is not investing in LinkedIn and strategies for individuals and strategies at the company level, you are going to be left behind in our B2B world here. So I'm going to get into the 2 tracks for today, and I'm going to tell you the trends that I think are important for all of you to know around influence and empower. So I want to talk about influence for a second here, and I'll tell you a little bit about, my journey too. Is in this slide here, it kind of summarizes, kind of my whole thought on this. Is it was May of 2018, and we were doing what most good B2B companies are doing, right? We're putting out blog posts, we're putting out ebooks, we're click funnels, all the good stuff, and we started to look at engagement and how many people are actually engaging with this. What's their intent level compared to what it used to be maybe back in 2010 and before? And we realized that, look, people want to consume content differently now. They want free access, right? How many of you can do a little virtual raise hand or clap or light bulb. How many of you have blog posts or tabs saved from well over a week ago that you are going to read later, right? How many of you have ebooks that you have saved that you're going to read later, right? Lots of hand raising. Yes, I love this, right? I'll raise mine too. I'm also very guilty of this. And I realized that. And so what I realized is, why are we spending all this time? Why, if what people really want is to hear from other people, they want to hear from me in short form content, maybe the way to build influence in today's day and age isn't through this type of thought leadership anymore. These big pieces of content, these big pillar pieces that you break down, and maybe instead the way to build influence is through short form content on LinkedIn. and that sounds crazy. So for literally a year, we didn't share a single post. We didn't share a single blog post, a single ebook, etc. So that was our journey on this. It really is, what does influence look like in 2021? And we kind of saw the trends back in 2-3 years ago. And again, I realized that you, all of you here, have the potential to influence your industry more than a white paper or an ebook, because that's what people want to do. They want to hear from other people. And so why LinkedIn, right? So why am I talking about these trends on LinkedIn? Well, because all of these trends are directly related to LinkedIn. And if you want to talk about where to build digital influence, there's, like, as McKinsey said, there's 740 million members. 61 million of those are senior level influencers. 87 million. This is the stat that millennials aren't on LinkedIn. Bullshit. Millennials I think millennials are the largest group on LinkedIn right now. Right now, are they getting more active? Yes. Right. Are there more and more building profiles? Yes. Right. 40 million decision makers. Okay. Yes, Jen, you'll get the slides for sure. So again, I pulled all this. I think I even have like the sites where I pulled this from. But again, so if you want to talk about where influence matters, right? And all of you are here to think about this. But what I want to do is really help you to understand the why. Why are you on LinkedIn? Why are you doing this? Why would you want to build influence, right? And it's because of this right here. It's because that in today's world, this is where the audiences are. Okay, senior level people, influencers, millennials, all the people that you want to have influence in your industry over are on LinkedIn, right? Whether they're posting or they're liking or commenting only, doesn't matter, they're still here. I love this. I pulled this. I looked at top industries on LinkedIn by number of profiles. My friends, there are more people, and again, I think sometimes we think this is a bubble. And trust me, we hear this, McKinsey hears this all the time. Our audience isn't on LinkedIn. They're old school, okay? There's more people with profiles that are in accounting than people in computer software industry, which probably a lot of you are in computer software, right? The automotive is number 9. This blew me away. I couldn't believe it. There are more people, and by the way, don't ask me what internet means. I don't know what internet as a category means, right? But I want you to think about this. Don't give me the shit that your people aren't on LinkedIn. They are. And the thing that you have to look at is not just, are they posting? It's about the individuals, not posting. It's about, are they active? Because on LinkedIn, you can look at activity and you can look at their liking and commenting. So Ryan, I'm not sure on per function, but I mean, automotive salespeople on LinkedIn? I don't know. Maybe it's possible. But again, even though that shows you, why would an automotive salesperson be on LinkedIn? I don't know, right? So So when we think about like the reason that you're doing this, is are you trying to get likes or are you trying to build a reputation? Okay. And when you think about this concept that, and life science is in there. Life science is totally active. We work with, Thermo Fisher, which is one of the largest life sciences company. And I can tell you LinkedIn's a big part of our strategy, right? Again, I think we think because we're in sales, it's only SaaS, other salespeople. It's not, right? And I want you to think about it like this. This isn't about when we use the word influence. And so McKinsey and I, when we were planning this, we really went back and forth on this word, and it has a connotation, right? It's got this connotation, like, oh, I'm an influencer, like, oh, what's up, right? But it's not about getting likes. It's about building your reputation. And I think that this is an important part of when you think about what you're going to learn today and what's important to these people. Jeff, I interviewed Jeff Gitomer. If you know Jeff Gitomer, he wrote a book called Little Red Book of Sales. It's like a legendary sales book back in December. And he said, people want it. It's like nobody wants to buy from a nobody. And so the same way, and what I do to challenge people to think about this concept of influence is I asked them, I said, look, in pre-COVID times, if I had a networking event with 30 of your target audiences, and I would give you a 10-minute speaking spot, would you fly across the country or the globe to go and take that opportunity in your territory? All hands go up. Of course I would. My friends, the same thing's happening on LinkedIn every day. If you are adding more of the right people, and the beautiful part is you have the ability to control the size of your trade show. You have the ability to control the size of your audience because you can continue to add and grow your network and get more people who will then see content when you put it out. So when you think about the influence track, we're not talking about being an influencer. We're talking about building a reputation. And all of you have a digital reputation, whether you want to believe it or not. I can go and Google your name, and if you don't think that buyers Google your name, you are dead wrong. And you don't think that if someone, maybe if they see a profile and they're going through the connection request, if you don't think that they go and look at your profile, you're dead wrong. And so you have to think about influence is about reputation building. We do not have face-to-face conferences for the most part. So you get a chance to speak every single day to your target audience, and that is where LinkedIn comes in. Right. And as we think about influence, how do you give value? Right. How do you nurture people? I'll tell you, I used to not really understand this concept at all. And I used to think that if a salesperson or marketing was doing something, it should always have a call to action. Right. And, I've made the joke that if like April of 2018, Jake heard, April of 2021, Jake talk about not having a call to action, he'd probably punch him, right? He'd be like, dude, you are delusional. What do you mean? But that's not the game that's being played anymore. I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, whether you're a fan or not, doesn't really matter. But the world today is built on giving away value because guess what? Putting up gates isn't relevant. It's not relevant, right? You're putting up gates to content. People want to hear from you. Right? Nurture, give value. Don't reshare posts. Don't reshare links. Give value. And it's not that you can't have an ask. And if you want to reshare, Paolo, reshare. It doesn't matter. But think about it. The reason that you're not, maybe people aren't getting the influence that they'd like in their space is that you've got to feel comfortable. And that's why a lot of you are here. You have to feel comfortable having a little bit of an original voice. And so, and you can borrow from people, but that's it. So when we think about this concept of digital influence, right, every day you have a mic ready to talk to your target audience at your computer desk. And so if you are someone who, we built this influence track for individuals who want to continue to grow their audience and to make sure the right people see it. And so you're going to hear in this influence track, from a lot of really awesome people that I really am friends with and talk to a lot. So, these are people I know that know their stuff around this. And so every day you have this opportunity in front of you. Okay. And Adam, to kind of answer your question, you can leave it here on Empower. It's fine. The key to influence is, and everyone has that imposter syndrome. I'm not going to go into detail on influence. You have to just make a choice. Is it, you see the results that you're getting today from the influence that your current strategy for how you're trying to gain your digital reputation. And you have to ask your question, how's it working for you? And if the answer is, I need to be comfortable putting myself out there, and you don't need to, putting yourself out there is just sharing something that you learned, something that happened. And so when you think about influence, do not worry. There's somebody out there. I repeat the same topics over and over again and get the same number of new people who find it interesting. Yep. Adam, I give it all away. My team yells at me all the time, right? About influence. I said a 7-to-1 ratio, right? 7 gives and then 1 asks. I'm probably like 15-to-1, right? And yeah, I mean, and just so you know, Jared, it was a big shift for me too. And I can tell you now, my friends, like we are generating millions, plural of dollars from organic inbound from my LinkedIn. Millions. And it started in about it took a while, but 6 to 9 months it started. You know, I remember in 2019, turned into a 6-figure contract. Oh, actually, we've got a client now who will probably end up spending 7 figures with us. That the phone call started, and the first deal was a 6-figure deal that closed in 48 hours. 48 hours it closed, a 6-figure deal. Another one, the first call starts, Jake, I'm not sure I even know what you guys do, but we need to scale our sales team. So, you know, I'm not going to steal the thunder of some of the folks in the Empower track, but I will share some stats here that just because you know, there's an adage in marketing and sales, right? If you can't track it, it doesn't matter. It's bullshit, right? And so I'm going to talk about why, you know, how we can do a better job here. So, you know, something I want Empower, really, this Empower track is all about how do you enable those around you? So, you know, Jen, I know, you know, Inside Out, you know, maybe Empower, if you want to attend some of the sessions, it's going to be how do you help your executive team get more out there, right? So just think about, you know, today when you're picking your track, think about that. You know, influence should be your track. If you're like, hey, I need to figure out how I can up my game. And Empower should be the track. I'm a leader in my organization, or I want to be, and I want to learn how other best practices are happening. The good part is no matter which track, you're going to get the recording of all of it. So do not fret. You will get the recording of all of it, but be very smart today. You know, if you're more interested in yourself, be selfish. If you're more interested in, you know, I kind of got that, I want to do that, go ask questions, raise your hand, all that stuff. Because the fact of the matter is this, is that your team's voice will always be bigger than the company megaphone. And what's important here is it's just numbers. Oh, I thought I had the numbers up next. It's fine. All right, so I'm going to talk to you about like what that actually means here in a second. So there's 2 things around empowering that if you want to get serious today about making those around you feel more comfortable / why you need to get involved, these are the things that you're going to need to tackle. You know, the first is leaders leading by example and setting the tone. Okay, it's this concept that, and it doesn't mean that leaders have to post every day on LinkedIn. You don't have to do, it's just that making it an option and doing it every once in a while, because as leaders, you know, again, it's the same question. I'll ask a CEO or a CMO or a CRO. I'll say, again, would you send someone across the country to go speak at a large networking event in your industry? Absolutely. Then why aren't you active on LinkedIn? It's the same exact thing. It's just happening every day. Right. The other big piece when it comes to, you know, this lead by example is the value of brand in B2B. And I think about personality and brand has never been valued. Right. Again, if we can't track clicks or measurements, it's not value. I can tell you, and if you do join the Empower track, you're going to hear Gong talk, you know, about it. Kevin will actually talk about it too in the influence track. We got 2 real heavy hitter sessions right after this, and I'm pumped for it. That, you know, their valuation, I don't know if you saw what Gong's latest valuation was. It was a lot. And the multiple was a even higher multiple than almost any SaaS company gets. They've got a brand. It's defensible, right? It's a culture, right? So again, when you're thinking about these things, lead by example. Individuals at your company need to lead by example. The next thing is empowering with insights. Right? When you look at your employees' posts, do you even know what type of engagement they get? Yikes. Not good. So again, I go back to what I said before, my learning. And I was talking to a marketing leader yesterday. I said, look, would you rather be able to track 2 clicks or get 1,000 extra eyeballs on something. And that's the choices that you have to make. So are you empowering people, right? That these text-only posted videos that get hundreds of more engagements, 10x, 100x more engagement, or do you really want to track the 4 clicks? And really it is that binary. So again, are you empowering your people with how to share insights, not just links? Yeah, I mean, here's some example of our folks. Again, we try to empower them. Again, we try to also not force them to do anything. What we try to do is, again, hey, here's banners that we've created. Here's details that we've created. We encourage them. We talk openly about it, right? At Skaled, we talk about it in a revenue meeting. We'll talk about it in a marketing and sales meeting. We'll talk about it at all hands. And so, obviously people see me out there doing it. But the funny part is, it almost makes it too intimidating for people. But we've got some people, Mackenzie, obviously, Marion, Mike, Franklin, a lot of folks who are getting more active now. But the key is, again, it goes back to leading by example. That if I wasn't leading by example, I wasn't making it okay for people to post and really openly encouraging and never censoring people, that we would get to this point. Right. And this is the stat. If you've heard me talk, you've heard me reference a stat probably 70 times because you can just go run the report yourself in Sales Navigator. I just typed in Sales Navigator at current company equals SAP shares in the last 30 days. And then I went to SAP's corporate page and looked at how many shares they had. So imagine that. Imagine the idea of empower. Imagine if SAP was able to truly empower with insights, because SAP has a whole social selling program, but again, it's the old school mindset. They're just sharing SAP, blah, blah, blah. It's all company propaganda. There's no original insights from the reps. Imagine if they could get just a small percentage of their reps. What about 10%? 10% of the reps. That'd be 1,000 individuals, right? Over 1,000 individuals sharing on a consistent basis insights. That will, the bigger companies that figure this out will take over industries on LinkedIn because they figure out how to empower employees, right? The interesting part, Adam, about that is, the key is it depends on the insights you share. There are regulated industries, and a lot of it, I know, especially like financial advisors, they're in a really tough spot. So yeah, you have to make a choice. How are you going to build your digital influence? It's going to happen. You're going to need to figure out, and again, that in Adam, banking and some of these industries, it's even more important for the leaders to empower. So saying, hey, instead of having to get everything approved by corporate, here's some insights that you can freely share, right? And that's the mindset shift, that marketing's job is to empower, not to control and command. That's old school. That slows things down. It's slow, right? And again, just thinking about this, are you asking your people to share this, right? And if you look at this, right, text posts and what they do, right? Yep. What do you do on LinkedIn if it does not already exist? So I love that. I mean, I love this stat. So check out what Steve just shared here in the chat. Gartner study, I think he picked up a different one, right? Says sales organizations must be able to sell to customers everywhere the customer expects to engage, interact with suppliers, right? The key is, the interesting point is, how do you define interaction? And interaction can be liking and commenting. It can be sharing something on a DM, making a voice recording, or sending a personalized video. All of those things are helpful. Our number one lead source right now from our website is Jake's LinkedIn. We just added it when we did the rebrand, and it's a choice now, and it is the number one lead source. So again, Steve, just because I can't track the clicks, we can track the results. And so that's part of me showing up and the rest of the team showing up and then being able to track it later. Employee advocacy platforms, Jen, that's a great question. I would ask the teams. So I'm gonna not chime in on this one. We don't at Skaled, I can tell you now. But I would ask the team at Gong and Paul. Paul at Lessonly. I'd ask them what they're doing as a part of this. I don't know if they are or not. I just wanted to share, and I'm not going to steal their thunder. Gong as a company, only 20% of their posts every week have a link in it. How many if you think about percentage of B2B companies that don't share links, I would guess most B2B companies, 98% of their posts have links. Well, why? Why wouldn't they share links? Because they know they can get more reach, and they're after more reach, right? They're trying to get more engagement and more reach. Okay. And last is when we think about empower, support your people when they put it out there, right? And so the last thing that you need to do again is lead from example, provide insights, and give support. And so again, let's go back to those trends, right? Those trends are more and more millennials who want a more frictionless process. And like Steve put, they want people to meet them where they're at. There's more people involved. We need to be able to interact and like and comment and get those people involved. And we need to continue to make the process more frictionless and think about B2C, a B2C mindset to B2B. I said this to a friend of mine who owns a recruiting company, and like the look on her face was like horror almost, that I said, I don't think we're going to have inbound SDRs in 5 to 10 years, or at least we'll only have them in a very small set of companies, or like for like a very small set. Think about the whole concept of an inbound SDR is it goes directly against these trends. It goes directly against it. It's friction. It's not someone who's a guide or who's there to help or who has shown that they have influence in their space. It's the opposite of that. And all those old school things we used to do will die out. Right? Exactly. And I love this, right? And so that's why when Elizabeth gets on phone with an inbound SDR who she already knows, she's already done her research. And she's like, so tell me more about this. And they're like, well, that's a conversation for Timmy. I'm going to qualify you. It's like, click. I'm just going to go fill out other forms of people who actually get this thing. So 2 tracks today, right? That I want all of you agree. Jen, I'll agree. But what I'll also say is that most SDRs aren't taught to do more than that. And I don't see that trend changing. As much as I'd like to say, like, we need to invest more, I think it's investing in a role that's not going to exist soon. You're 100% right. It is training, but it is what it is, and I just feel like, why wouldn't you just have them talk to a salesperson, right? Like, that's my thing about removing this friction. So I'm going to leave you with the tracks. Make sure to choose wisely, influence and empower. If you're trying to up your own game, right? Join influence. Don't worry if you do miss the session with Gong because you're hanging out with KD. KD put together a brand new deck for this. So if I'm telling you, go check out what KD is up to. Oh, you joined. There we go. What's up, man? Go check it out, right? Empower. Hey, I'm a leader. I want to go through this. I want to see what's up next. Then join the empower track. Next one. I'm running out of time here, I know. All right, next one. Let's go here. The choices. I know, Jeremy, the choices, right? The last thing we're going to do here is that all of you for attending are going to get, again, this is included in the VIP, that you actually get a 30-minute session with the team. So Mackenzie's going to be on most of these. Ben on our team. I'll probably hop in on a few. So do me a favor. We'll drop these links. Can you guys drop the links or pin them so people can join this? Adam, well, no, we don't do the outbound for people. We instead empower their teams. So we do content for executive teams and for reps, but we don't do the outbound. We're not an outbound. There's other people that do that in an okay to spammy way, right? So if you're looking, there you go. If you're looking for someone to do your outbound sales, then I would hit up Inside Out. If you're looking to build the process on how to use LinkedIn, then I would hit us up. Either way, book some time. It should be easy enough. And then, so here's what you got up next. I think there should be one more. Boom. There you go. KD, join the influence track. KD is going to talk about my journey to millions of views. Don's going to talk about how they created a culture to post. Yes, we got some hitters coming out the gate. So I'm really, really pumped for the rest of it today. I will see all of you at the end, at the closing, to kind of wrap things up. Going to be a really great sessions today. Again, like I said before, be very, very selfish. Ask lots of questions. Sign up. Again, we already had, I think, 15 or 20 people who have already signed up for their 30-minute consult. So just sign up. It's just a part of the ticket. Again, the goal of this wasn't to make money. It was to add value. So I'm really excited for the rest of the day. I hope this session has really made you think about the future and where we're headed and why these trends. You joined because you were interested in this topic. But I hope what my session did to kick this off was get you to start to think about now is the time. These other companies are doing this. They're going to crush it. Okay. And the key is why not you? Why not you as the reputation? Why not you as the company that's leading the way? Right? So again, you guys can sign up. It's at the very top there. So I'm going to turn this over. You've got 2 minutes. Go take a break. Join the right session. I'm very, very excited. Don't worry, Adam. There's recordings. You're going to be able to watch them both. And I thank you and appreciate everyone. We'll see you on the next session.